All right, you guys, thanks for tuning back in. We've already been chopping it up with, again, a local legend. If you guys grew up in San Gabriel Valley, Almani, West Covina, you guys already know who he is. I'm still going to introduce him, though. Jojo Diaz, thank you so much for taking the time to be here.
Thanks for having me.
I'm a little bit like, I don't want to call it like starstruck, but
how do we begin?
Yeah, it's crazy because you don't think of yourself as like a celebrity like that, huh?
Nah, man, I'm a humble dude, man. I just like to, just live life and just do whatever makes me happy, but also try to inspire the people that are around me and stuff, and just try to be that light to that people, and just be by myself, worry about my son, worry about the number one priority that is in my life right now, and that's my son. So in order for me to protect my son, I got to do everything that's best for me.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, you've been putting in work for years. And I think it's always crazy when I watch you. I've seen a lot of your fights. You came out to our gym when we grand opened, so you helped us out. But it's always humbling to see how humble you are. Like, you never carry yourself like you're a celebrity. Because we've had some people we've reached out to, and they're very like, talk to my agent, talk to my people.
Yes.
And I was like, and I was
like,
wait a minute, we got in direct contact with actually him. All right, you guys. So this is a good one for us. By the time you guys hear this, he would already have announced his fight. But what's in the future for you right now? I know you just had a fight, lost the title, right, not too long ago.
Yeah.
So what's next for you right now coming up in this year?
Yeah, man. Well, you know what? It was very unfortunate that I lost to Devin Haney. I thought I was ready for that type of opponent. I just, it wasn't myself that fight, but I ended up going back to the tape, seeing what I needed to do, and just went back just in my life at that time where what I needed to progress on. And now I got everything situated. I brought some new people around my team where I feel like I could fight on my best capabilities, and I know what I did wrong with the Devin Haney fight. So that right there, I don't take the Devin Haney fight as a loss. I take it as just, a learning experience, what I needed to work on, what I needed to improve on, because obviously Devin Haney has all the belts right now. So I needed to work on what I needed to prove to enhance my performances, that I could match that energy and match that type of performance. And right now I feel like everything's in tune. I want to get I want to get that fight first, and then after that, fight Ryan Garcia in December, and then.
Ooh, that's what people want to hear.
Yeah, but then after that, man, I want to go after one of the big dogs again. I want to go after Devin Haney or Tank Davis. That's one of my end goals. So I'm focusing on that right now.
So what do you think? Going back to that, that was December, right, when you fought Devin Haney?
Yeah.
Yeah. So from now to December, I know you said like a lot of things changed. What specifically do you feel like? You feel like you're just in a better place? You feel like you've learned from fighting someone at his caliber, like what you need to work on, or what do you think's changed for that?
Yeah, I feel like everything just changed. Just basically just knowing what I want in my life, and what not only just what I want in my life, but what is going to make me in the best shape where I could perform inside that ring, to give the fight fans my best performance inside that ring. I've been fighting for many, many years, so now it's just about understanding life outside of the ring and just adjusting so that way I could be in the best spirits and just in the best health, both physically and mentally, so that way I could just go out there and just give everybody my full talent. So that's what I've just been working on just personally, and right now I feel like I'm in the best mental state of my life, and just happy and content, and I know where I need to go, and I just got to execute it now.
What do you do right now for like keeping your mental space?
So what I do right now is I meditate a lot. I do a lot of meditation, but I also read a lot, and I talk to a couple of my close friends that that I want them to know my business and what's going on like in my personal life. And it's very, very cool because they're able to, share their thoughts and stuff. And it gives me a brighter perspective on, just my life in general, because I got to understand that, yeah, I'm a boxer, and yeah, I'm a fighter, but I'm also a dad, and I got to, look out for my son now, and I got to protect him. So I got to do things, not just thinking about myself anymore. I got to do things where I got to make investments. I got to, promote myself as much as I can, but also be in the best shape mentally and physically for myself, so that way I can perform at my best and not be any harm's way, so I could go back to my son.
I love that.
What's funny is a lot of people that we talk to, they always relate how well they do either at work. Obviously, your work is fighting, but with their personal life.
Yeah.
So even you kind of speaking on that, like you had a lot of distractions outside the gym that affected you inside the gym. That's kind of a common theme, and that was a good question of like, what do you do to kind of center yourself at your home? I love the fact that you're such a family-oriented guy. And I've had my first daughter, which I've mentioned 1,000 times on this podcast, but I'll mention it again. It does humble you, right? Yeah. You start thinking of life a lot differently than you did before.
Exactly.
The moves you make are more for your kids now, and you could definitely see even talking to you. You pulled up in the whip, and you had the car seat in the back.
Yeah.
He had this bomb ass Mercedes in the car seat. I'm like, okay, so a car seat could fit in a coupe. So you have a fight coming up. In this year, in September, correct?
Yes, it's going to be September. We're working on it right now. We're working on finalizing the date, but it's looking like September for sure.
September. So, yeah. I mean, God willing, everything goes well. When we announced you on the podcast, the number one thing we got, and I'm pretty sure you hear this all the time, is Ryan Garcia, right? So what if you could go into any kind of detail, what happened? How did that fight kind of fall through?
Well, so basically, Ryan Garcia was supposed to be fighting some guy named Javier Fortuna, which he's going to be fighting now. And everything, the hype was real. I was like, oh shit, like Ryan's finally stepping up in his career. He's fighting a guy that is very, very dangerous. Devin Haney, he didn't want to fight Javier Fortuna, and a couple other fighters, they avoided Javier Fortuna because he's a dangerous fighter. He's very, very heavy-handed, and he's very slick when he goes inside that ring. He knows how to land his dangerous shots on you. So I was like, man, this is very impressive. But then, 2 or 3 weeks after the fight was announced, he ended up pulling out Ryan Garcia. And I mean, I understand. I don't know, Ryan Garcia's life personally or anything like that. So it was due to his mental illness, and I don't want to, shame him or anything like that. I don't want to do anything because, I dealt with mental health before in my past, and I still do it with this day, where you got to maintain your happiness and all that stuff. So I kind of felt for him too. So I was like, all right, yeah, maybe it is true. So I wish him nothing but the best. So at that point, I was like, man, like, shit, since he backed out, man, might as well me and Javier Fortuna fight and stuff like that. So I ended up texting Oscar De La Hoya and texting, Golden Boy Promotion. I was like, yo, since Ryan Garcia ended up backing out, put me in there, man. Let me fight Javier Fortuna. And at that time, I was fighting at 130, but I wanted to move up in weight. I had to move up in weight in order to fight Javier Fortuna. So I ended up fighting Javier Fortuna, ended up beating him. And then that's when Golden Boy and everything wanted me to set up the Ryan Garcia fight. And I was like, all right, let's do it. So we ended up setting the fight. The fight already got announced. It was already almost set. I was I already signed my end of the contract, and then he ended up pulling out. So that's where that beef has ended up coming, because now I talk a lot of shit to him too. I think he's a pussy, and I call him bitch and all that shit. Yeah. So like that's where the beef's at now.
Yeah, I feel it's kind of mutual. I mean, Ryan Garcia is a big name. I mean, he did a really good job of promoting himself on social media. You see him on almost everything. So I'll go to his page, and all your fans, bro, they go on his page and they're literally calling him Queen Ryan and they're talking shit about him. But for you guys are in the inside, so when like someone pulls out of a fight, that's money that's out of your pocket, right? Are you always, just in case, let's just say another fight, someone pulls out, are you always have other opponents lined up, or how does that work within the boxing industry?
See, like,
or is somebody waiting for somebody to pull out sometimes?
Well, it all just matters. But I mean, when somebody pulls out, it's kind of like a bullshit thing. It's like either you get an injury or something else like that. But he claimed that he had an injury, but I don't think he had like a serious injury like that. But I mean, he claimed it, and it is what it is. It happened. So that's. Oh, actually, no. He pulled up for the other fight.
Yeah, he pulled up for another fight.
Yeah, he pulled up for I'm claiming the injury, but he claimed mental health. So that's when people started shaming him and stuff like that, because this was his first tough fight to actually compete with an actual fighter that is up there, that is ranked in the top 5 or top 10. So it was a tough fight for him. And then after that, he ended up pulling out due to that. So that's when people started shaming him.
Yeah.
And then the whole card ended up getting dropped. Wow. So that's when I was like, man, I can fucking fight Javier Fortuna. Like, I'll beat that dude. Like, put me in there. So just like the fighter in me just wanted to go out there and just, fight, because I'm the type of fighter that always wants to just compete with the best. I want to fight guys, and I want to challenge myself, but I also want to challenge them. And I feel like I'm a really, really good fighter, so I want to always compete in the top tier, and I want to just challenge each other, because boxing is that type of sport. It's a one-on-one combat sport. Yeah, you have your team and everything, but when you're going in the live actual mix, it's just you and the other guy. So it's kind of intense. So I like to challenge other people's soul like that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people get on Ryan because of the people he fights. And I think you were one of the first ones that I was like, holy shit, okay, he's really stepping up, because I think he fought someone that like worked part-time at right, he was he fought someone that worked part-time like at a restaurant, and so people are like, dude, stop getting these but I understand boxing, right? That you have to build the name. He's a good-looking young kid,
but you also got to understand Ryan's perspective as well in his life. He brought himself up due to like TikTok, due to Instagram, due to modeling, promoting himself like that. So he already has that type of following. He already has that type of people where they think he's this type of fighter and he's putting up this type of persona. But at the end of the day, the real boxing fans and the people in the actual industry know that he hasn't fought any challenged fighters. Facts. But he's doing this because he's making a good living for himself. I mean, he's promoting himself. He has a good following. He has a good influence. He's good. He's attractive. He's good looking to the audience and stuff like that. So he's doing things right. And I feel like he knows that in the back of his mind, that if he ends up losing, that kind of might shatter everything for him. It's a business move. That kind of it kind of might like ruin his whole persona or whatever.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think one loss and he's gonna have to turn his comments off.
But he has no say so now. No, he has no say so now. Now he has to fight. Now he's gonna have to fight. He's gonna have to start challenging these actual boxers, because these councils, these boxing councils and organizations, mandatories now, the WBC and all that. No, they want you to fight these freaking boxers. They don't. You're not gonna win a freaking title fighting a fucking guy that is 32 and like 18 or some shit like that. Like,
that works part-time at Subway. And
exactly.
He teaches youth boxing on the weekends.
So if he really, but it's up to Ryan. If he really wants to be that fighter, if he wants to be that boxer, if he wants to have that title around his waist, he's going to have to go out there and, compete with the actual boxers.
Right. So that fight's coming up next week, and you already fought Fortuna. So how do you see this fight going? Like, what do you think is going to be the outcome of this fight?
It's going to be I think it's going to be a good fight, man. I'm excited because I want to see how Ryan is going to be able to adjust to that type of, style and that type of, veteran type of experience that this guy Javier Fortuna has. Javier Fortuna, he knows how to, up the pace. He knows how to throw punches and splurges and like make you try to waste energy, and he also knows how to like fake you out where you think that he's hurt, so he baits you in and then he tries to land like some good shots. So I mean, it's going to be an interesting fight because I don't know if Ryan has that type of experience yet, but Ryan Garcia does have the better skills. So if he does has Javier Fortuna right away, right from the jump, if he drops his hand and catches him with the quick hook, he might just put him asleep. So it's going to be I think it's a 50-50 fight, to be honest.
Are you going to be there?
Yeah, I'm gonna be there. I'm like, fuck you.
With the Queen Ryan shirt. I know what you would want, but who do you think is gonna pull that one out? I know you would want Ryan because obviously you'd want that fight because it's been booked before and got called off. But like,
I want Ryan to win because I want us to fight. Because like if Javier Fortuna wins, I'm like, fuck. Like,
you gonna fight him again?
I gotta beat the shit out of Javier Fortuna again. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, I mean, dude, you're going to be there in attendance. That's going to add extra pressure to him. I'm for sure going to watch that fight. So that's going to be a good one. The state of, you've been boxing for how long, dude?
I've been boxing since I was 11, man.
Since 11 years old.
11. I've been boxing since I was 11, and then I went to the Olympics when I was 17. And then after the Olympics, I ended up turning pro at 18. And then since then, I just been, fighting, dude. I've been fighting as a professional fighter. I'm 29 now, so it's been 11 years as a professional.
Wow. Yeah. How do you feel with that? Like, did you see yourself when you were younger? I mean, everyone always asks, like, what do you want to do for a living?
Was that your dream?
Oh, yeah. This always has been my dream, man. I knew that it's crazy that I've always, like, wanted this type of lifestyle and this type of, life. I've always dreamt about it. I honestly started dreaming about it when I was, like, 14, 15 years old, when I was in high school, because I was a really good baseball player, too. I was always in All-Stars, and I was like always playing baseball. My dad always had me in baseball, but once I went to high school, the high school coach wanted me to play varsity baseball. But whenever I would go to practice, I would always leave early because I loved boxing. I always go to the boxing gym. I was like, man, I got to take off and go to boxing. So I used to go to boxing. And then I think when I was in 10th grade, the varsity coach was like, yo, like, you can't be leaving early like that. I want you to play varsity baseball. So it's either you choose baseball or you're going to choose boxing. So then I was like, fuck. I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. I was like, can you give me a day and shit? And he was like, yeah. I was like, all right. So then I went home and I just started thinking. I talked to my dad about it and stuff. And I just started thinking. I was like, man, like baseball I'm really, really good at. And I was like, maybe I could, at that point, I was like only like 5'2" or 5'3", dude. Right now I'm like 5'7" on my good days. But at that point I was like 5'2", 5'3". So I was like, damn, like as a baseball player, I don't think I'll be able to make it because I'm small. Probably the best I'll probably do is probably get like a scholarship somewhere, and then I'll probably just go like that, go based off school. But then with boxing, I started thinking about boxing. I was like, man, like, and I started looking. I was like, dude, like Oscar De La Hoya was fighting at 135 when he first won his world title. Yeah. Floyd Mayweather, he was at 126 when he first won his world title. So it's all different weights and all different sizes, and it's a good like sense of living if you make it up there, if you're really dedicated. And at that point, I already had like 70 amateur fights with only like 1 or 2 losses. So I was like, man, I'm actually pretty good, so might as well just stick it out. So I ended up going to the high school, and I just told them like, yo, you know what? I'm just gonna go with this boxing shit. And then ever since then, man, I just started training, started winning competitions, winning tournaments, and then ended up making it all the way to the Olympic trials, winning the Olympic trials, and then becoming an Olympian.
That was great. Did you, even at a young age, you were like comprehending that, like, where this future was going to take you? So you've always had that in you, that entrepreneurship. Because, I feel like a boxer, even though you have a promoter, you have people, it's up to you to do the self-promotion. It's up to you to do a lot of that stuff. But going back to the Olympics, how was that experience? Because, that's always like the goal for a lot of people, is just to at least get on the Olympic team.
Oh man, the Olympics was a great experience, man. I was on the Olympic team for about 4 years. So once I actually qualified for the actual team, we had like a crazy ass training camp. I would go to Colorado Springs, train at the Olympic Training Center, deal with Earl Spencer was like, he was my roommate. I had Rashid Warren. I had all these champions, dude, all around me that are now champions, like in this day and age. So I'm like, damn, man, it's just like, it was just a good experience, just absorbing all that, and just like knowing what people want, because that's what I wanted. That was my dream, was just, to be a boxer and to have that at my living. So being surrounded by other boxers that had that same passion and that had that same goal and had that same vision, it was inspiring. So we were just always training, always motivating and stuff like that. And then I ended up competing twice in the Olympics. I fought a guy from Germany, and I ended up beating the crap out of him, man. I busted him up pretty bad. He was trying to use his strength, but I was just busting him up, and I beat him by like 20 points. And then after that, they already had me in a tougher bracket, because obviously it's all like politics when it gets to the Olympic Games. So they had all the USA fighters like in tough brackets already. So my next fight was against a Cuban that like already like made gold and all that stuff. So I was like, fuck. I was like, all right, I know what I got to do. And I fought him like 2 years prior, and he beat me, but barely. So I was like, all right, I know what I got to do and stuff like that, because with boxing at the amateur point, it's mostly points. It's not just like trying to knock you out or something like that. It's mostly just like hitting you like with little feather punches, but looking clean so the judges call it. And the guy I think he was like 5'10" or something that. Yeah, 5'10" at 122 pounds. So I was like, shit, all right, I had to get in the inside.
Try to get in the inside, yeah.
Yeah, so I ended up competing, dude. I thought I was winning the fight, man. At the end of the second round, it was 8-9. That he was up by 1 point. And I was like, fuck, all right, I got this. And in the third round, he was clinching the whole fight. He was clinching the whole time, and the referee didn't give him no deductions or anything like that. And then the third round ended up coming, and I thought I ended up winning the third round, so I thought I won the fight, man. And then they ended up giving him. I ended up losing the fight by like 9 points or something like that. I was like, what the fuck?
How did he even land that many?
How did he get 9 points in the last round and stuff like that? And then after I was kind of sad, man. I was kind of devastated, because I did everything right. Like I was so pure, and I was so dedicated to the sport and stuff like that. And I was on like a top tier diet. I didn't cheat. I didn't do anything like that. I was just like really just eat, sleep, and box, because I wanted to bring that gold medal back to the United States.
Yeah.
And for me to lose like that, man, I was like devastated, dude. But then, you know, I started like, you know, praying to God, and started, you know, talking to God, and just talking to myself, and just being like talking to my family as well, but just being more in like what I want to do. And then, man, it was very fortunate that like there was millions of like people watching, and there was a lot of promoters and stuff like that. And that's when Oscar De La Hoya ended up getting in contact with me, and I was like, damn, hell yeah, dude. Like, and he wanted to sign me, so I was like, hell yeah. So after the Olympics, that's when I was like, all right. So we ended up, you know, having like negotiations, talking to Oscar and stuff like that, and then I ended up signing my professional contract at 18.
Yeah, I feel like once you make it to the Olympics, whether you win a medal or not, you have so many eyes on you.
Yeah,
and it's the cream of the crop. I mean, these are guys that you probably have fought already in the professional ranks, because everyone that's fighting in the Olympics is going to turn pro, and you're going to meet them sometime. So,
yeah, but see, at that point, I'm like, man, like I wasn't even thinking about going pro, man. I just wanted to bring that gold medal back. Yeah. Because I was just, man, I was only 17 years old, dude, and I was just like, my whole focus was just boxing. Like my passion and everything at that time, because you know when you get older and stuff, you have to deal with life, you have to deal with kids, you have to deal with, you know, getting older, where you have to get your own house, you have to start staying bills and all that stuff start coming along. So, but at that time when I was 17, man, that's all I wanted was just to get a gold medal and stuff. So it was kind of like unfortunate, man, but I just know that it was very beneficial, because I started looking at all the aspects. I started looking like, damn, like, okay, yeah, I ended up losing, but I made it to the Olympics. I've learned all this stuff. I gained all the experience. I freaking fought everywhere around the world, so I could use this to my advantage as a pro fighter. And I could just, you know, use my, obviously pros and amateurs are completely different, but I could still use my expertise and my mind of what I've already been through and what I've already, you know, challenged myself with inside the ring. I could use that to, you know, execute whatever I need to inside the ring as a professional fighter. And that's what I did. And I started just, you know, training with professional fighters, started sparring like Leo Santa Cruz, Abner Mades, Ponce de Leon. I sparred a lot of these professional fighters when I was 14, 15, 16, 17 years old, just to gain all that knowledge. So yeah, it's been a long journey. I
mean, your roommate was Spence, so I mean,
yeah,
how much could you possibly learn? I mean, you've been doing it for a while, so now that you've been doing it, and I kind of feel like, I know you don't give yourself enough credit. I know there's still little heights of mountains that you want to climb, but I feel like you're the upper echelon. Is this boxing what you thought it would be? Like, now that you're in it, you've done the fights, you've had to deal with the promoting, and I guess where I'm getting to is a lot of people that are actually amateur boxers were hitting us up on IG, and they were asking like what advice you would give. Is this what you thought it would be? So like, now that you're in it, fighting the best of the best, fighting for world titles, the 14-year-old you, would you tell you, okay, this is exactly what we wanted, or is it not even close?
Oh, fuck no. Hell no, dude, man. I would go over there fucking, I would be like, I'll be like Mr. Miyagi to him, dude. I'll tell him everything. All right, you got to get your own LLC, you got to do this, you got to do that. Dude, boxing, I mean, when I was at that age, dude, I was still young, man. I had like a little baby mind and stuff like that. So it's very, very crucial with like all these up and coming fighters that, and not even just fighting in general, but just like in business in general, where you got to understand, man, that not everybody is out for you. Like people see your talent, see you growing up, and they try to take that advantage. They try to use what they know already and their knowledge that they had in their lifetime to, you know, take advantage of you. And it's cruel, man. Boxing is a cruel sport where I've already had that. I've already dealt with, you know, a lot of adversity. A lot of people did me wrong and stuff like that, where now I'm able to learn and I'm able to grow. Yeah, like I made a lot of mistakes, and a lot of people have already done that, but I know that I've learned a lot. I've experienced that, so now my future is going to be a lot better because of what I've experienced. So I just, for all these up and coming fighters, man, I just hope that once they want to turn pro, to make sure like all these top tier amateur fighters that are coming out of the Olympics, coming out of, you know, national tournaments and stuff, make sure that you guys are surrounded by, you know, managers that are trying to sign you, that are, you know, personal with you, like as far as family, or people that you know that are going to take you to a whole different route. not trying to just make you grow with you. You want to have somebody that is already up there, so that way they could teach you a lot of things going on when you're barely starting your career.
Yeah, I mean the business side of it's always it's all business. I mean when you break it down, like literally your industry, boxing is business.
Absolutely.
So I can see them taking advantage of like a I mean even you when you were 18 years old, you're still relatively young.
Yeah.
I mean I didn't know about an LLC till I was like 26, 27. So
mine was like 23. I was like, golly, I was like, I gotta pay all them damn taxes, dude.
Oh my God.
So who's your person? I mean, I hear you talk about your dad and your family. Like, who's your person before any deal happens? Is like who you talk to kind of bounce ideas?
Now it's my lawyer, dude. Yeah. Now I hired a lawyer. I mean, we
take emotion out of it.
Yeah. I take my emotions out of everything now. And like now I make sure I try to like hold my emotions to myself because, like I said, like not everybody's out to get, not everybody's out is really like caring about your feelings. So you got to make sure that you're managing your feelings to the people that really care about you, but also not, exploding yourself to like other people for that way they could, try to take advantage of you and stuff like that. So that's what I'm doing now. I ended up, lowering up, getting some good lawyers and stuff like that. And this guy, that's all he does. Like I hear people's advice. I hear what they try to offer me, and I'm like, all right. I'm like, send me you guys' information, send me your contracts. They send it to me, and I'll send my lawyers it. And then if they don't like it, they'll send it back and stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, he knows that he's going to take care of me. My lawyer's going to take care of me because whatever's best for me is best for him.
Yeah. Exactly. You guys, I mean, that's literally a business relationship you guys have.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, if he sees you win world titles, he's like, that's my guy.
That's right.
And a lot of times, like Marissa said, family is emotion.
Yes.
For whatever reason, it's not always the best interest of you as the individual. And now that you have, kids, you're like, what's the best for us?
Absolutely.
Them. So, I mean, the state of boxing have ebbs and flows. I remember watching it back in the day when you would see a De La Hoya Chavez fight, or it was really big. Now I feel like it's shifted a lot, right? Like a lot of big level fighters aren't making the money like a Jake Paul would make. How do you feel about seeing like the YouTube guys and these guys throwing on full on fight promotions? Do you like that, or are you kind of like against it?
I mean, I think for like a guy like Jake Paul, at first I was kind of like biased towards it because I was like, man, this guy's just trying to like just cash out because boxing, if you do it right, and if you have a good like viewership, and if you have good people watching and stuff like that, which Jake Paul does, you can make some good money off of it if you're doing it as far as a network, as far as your own promotions and stuff. You can make some good money. But if you're just like a regular fighter trying to do that, you got to spend a lot of money. You're not going to make that. So he had that already up on everybody. So that's why people were kind of mad. I was mad because I was like, man, like, this guy's like trying to make it seem like he's a boxer and whatnot, but he ain't shit. Like, he hasn't done anything. But now, like, since he's been fighting, he's been just, I could just see how motivated he is, and I could see how much he loves the sport of boxing. So just to see that, it's kind of like respectful because now he's you could tell he's taking it more serious.
Yeah.
Even
his next fight, I think what's his name backed out. The guy he was going to fight.
Tommy Fury.
Tommy Fury. So now he's actually fighting a legit boxer now, I heard. I was like listening. I'm like, oh, this should be interesting. I'm definitely going to tune in to see that.
Yeah, because the guy that he's supposed to be fighting, his dad was a world champion.
Yeah.
So he was a heavyweight world champion. So it should be a good fight.
It should be. What do you, I mean, you've seen what we've all seen, like the videos. What do you think of his skill?
Of whose? Jake's?
Jake's.
I think he still needs a lot of work. He tries to focus on his power a lot, which he is very, very strong. But if you get a guy that is very, very slick in there and a guy that is an actual boxer, you're not going to be able to just land a hard shot like that where you're going to be able to knock him out. You gotta work for it. You got to break him down. You got to just start dictating to body and stuff. You can't just be one dimensional. And I feel like right now he's still one dimensional, but he's working on it. You can see the improvement.
Yeah, his footwork looks a little better. He does load. I feel like he does that for Instagram though. I feel like footwork on Instagram isn't going to get as many hits as if you just slamming a heavy bag.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
right.
For sure,
you know what I mean? People just want to see that raw power.
Yeah.
But I mean, do you tune into his fights? Do you watch? Have you watched like any of the Tyron Woodley, Jake Paul fights?
Nah, I watched the Tyron Woodley on the Instagram. I was like, what the hell? I was like, damn, he knocked him out.
He knocked him out.
Yeah, because I seen is his name Tyson Woodley or Tyron?
Tyron Woodley.
Tyron, yeah. I seen him fight in the UFC, and I was like, oh, this dude's pretty bad, man. This guy's pretty bad. So now when I seen that he knocked him out, I was like, what the fuck? He knocked him out. So I had to check it out, and I was like, damn.
Yeah, no, I mean, he wants to be, he said
but
he wants to.
But he faked him out because he thought a body shot was coming. So he dropped his hand, and then boom, got slapped.
Yeah, I always ask that question because, you know, as you're in the boxing industry and you hear so many people kind of like badmouth the Paul brothers in general because they're using boxing and fighting as a springboard for themselves to make more money. And some boxers are saying it's taken away from the art of boxing. You know, but I like the way you put it is he's actually putting time and energy and money into the craft.
Yeah, exactly.
He's hiring good trainers. I mean, he's not just having like some dude hold mitts. Like he's actually going through full camp.
And he's been an entrepreneur too, man. Like if he wants to do that, at that point in his life, Jake Paul, in his point in his life right now, he can do whatever the hell he wants.
Oh, bro, he could.
Yeah, if he wants to be a boxer, let him be a boxer and shit. Like if he wants to fucking, he's gonna do whatever the fuck he wants right now. I mean, so like,
dude, that guy. I mean, I'm interested to see that fight. But even growing up, did you have like who was your idol growing up as far as like boxing that you wanted to emulate?
My idol like growing up, man, was Floyd Mayweather. I loved Floyd Mayweather. Nice. I loved Floyd Mayweather. I loved Oscar De La Hoya. Lennox Lewis too was one of my all-time favorites. Lennox Lewis, but Floyd Mayweather, and Winky Wright too. But Floyd Mayweather, I just loved like how he used to come out with like dope ass fits, come out with like 50 Cent and shit. And I was like, oh damn. And then he had like a cool little sway, like some diamonds and stuff like that. I was like, damn, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, and then, he did it right.
Yeah, and then he was like freaking just beating the shit out of everybody too, man. At that time when Floyd was like Pretty Boy Floyd Mayweather, dude, he was beating the shit out of people. He was landing like good combinations. He was throwing like 8 or 5 punches and like staying in the pocket and stuff like that. So he was actually putting on good performances. I think it was after the Oscar De La Hoya fight is when he started fighting more like protective and stuff, like more defensive and more like alert because he just wanted to win the fights. Yeah. And I've heard this from like a source like close to him and stuff like that, where the fights were 12 rounds, but he would make sure he would win like 7 or 8 rounds. Once he had 7 or 8 rounds in the bag, then the other 12 rounds or the other rest of the rounds that are already done, it's already over with because you're already up on the scorecard. Yeah, yeah. So might as well just play the defensive and just play it smart, just hit not to get hit, and just promote the fight and win the fight.
I mean, he's good at that. And I heard too he has hand issues.
Yeah.
So you can imagine throwing 8, 9 punch combinations over extended amount of time.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, because I broke my hand. I believe it was 2019, I ended up breaking my hand, my left hand. I broke it in camp, and I ended up fighting 2 weeks after in a professional fight. But I thought I was going to be good because I was getting like therapy. I didn't think it was broken. So I ended up getting therapy. I was getting ice treatment every single day after my workouts. I was getting like the electricity on it and all that stuff. So I thought it was going to be good. And it felt good going into fight week and stuff like that. So during the fight, during the actual, when I was in the locker rooms, my dad put on the 8-ounce gloves, and I put on the 8-ounce gloves, and then he tied them up, and then I started like sparring. I started hitting the mitts with him and stuff, and then once I hit like one time in the left, I started feeling it. I was like, fuck, man, I'm fucked. But I didn't want to tell anybody, dude, because the fight was already going on. So I was like, shit. I was like, man, I'm fucking fucked, dude. I was like, all right, I just gotta knock him out. I gotta knock him out. So then the fight ended up happening. It was in Mexicali. It was in Mexico. And the fight ended up happening. And the first round, I was filling him out and stuff. I was like, man, all right, I know what he was trying to do. He was lefty, and I was lefty. And my favorite shot against the lefty, is them shooting the left hand, because I could shoot my left hand and I could dodge their left hand, but I could land mine like to the chin. I land that shot all the time, like against the lefty and lefty. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna set that up. He was engaging a little bit, but he didn't engage that much. And then the second round, he started engaging more. He thought that like I was kind of like frightened of him, so he engaged. And right when he threw his left hand, I threw mine, boom, and I shattered my shit, dude. I broke it in the second round, and I couldn't throw it. I started throwing it just a little bit. I was throwing it like once he started. This was a 10-round fight. So once he started like engaging and started like to dictate the pace, that's when I would throw my left hand and land like 2 or 3 clean shots with my left hand, so I could just run the round, and then I would just jab him, hook him, and I ended up winning the fight.
On a broken hand? You went all 10 rounds?
I went all 10 rounds, yeah.
So how does that, like I always wonder, like you watch any kind of like sport, like combat sport, and people like, oh, I broke my hand in the first round, but I still fought. Like, do you still feel that pain every time you throw it?
Yeah, every time you throw it.
No matter what?
Yeah, every time you throw it.
Adrenaline doesn't take over.
This adrenaline's just throbbing, dude. Fuck. And then because you're thinking of it, it's throbbing even more, and you're like, fuck. And then you're in a live fight.
Yeah.
But the guy trying to knock your head off, you're like, damn, I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do.
Damn, I was gonna ask you too, like, what was your worst injury during a fight? But I mean, I don't know what could beat a fucking broken hand.
That one, and my fight against Tevin Farmer, where I got cut.
Oh,
where I got cut in the second round. That one was pretty tough because it wasn't that tough because the blood or anything wasn't getting in my eye. It looked bad, like it looked like it was like, oh fuck, like what the fuck. But the good thing is it was so open where the blood, like the skin was like peeling off, so the blood was dripping like past my eye.
Because it was rolling off the skin.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So it was dripping like past my eye. So like it wasn't like smearing in my eye and shit. So I was like, all right, cool, we're good.
So like even that as a fighter, like when you go back to the corner and obviously they don't tell you, oh, your eye's fucked up, but do you feel that shit like when you get hit still, or is it like just adrenaline? I always wondered.
When I got hit, like it hurt and shit like that, and then like I seen everybody, like I heard the fans were like, oh, like what the fuck, and I'm like, fuck, what the fuck happened? And I started seeing like blood dripping down. I was like, shit. So then the bell rung, and then I went to the corner. And I told my dad, I was like, yo, like, am I good? Because my dad's my coach. I was like, am I good? He's like, yeah, you're right, man. He was like, just stick to him. Like, you got to stick to it, because he wanted to, like, just hype me up, and he didn't want me to, like, get frightened or anything. So I was like, all right, cool. And then, like, they started giving me water and stuff. And then I look up, like, in the big, like, make it to, like, in the big TV. I can tell, like, what the fuck? I'm like, shit.
You're playing with your eye like this?
Yeah, I'm like, damn. So I was like, I looked up and I was like, God, fuck. I was like, all right. I was like, well, good thing is I could see. Like, it's bad, but I could see. Yeah. I just can't let him I can't let him hit the eye anymore, because the referee could stop the fight. Because the referee ended up taking me to the corner. They ended up showing me to the doctors. The doctor was like, you still want to fight? Like, how many fingers am I holding up? I was like, yeah, let me fight still. He was like, okay. So then he was like, well, if it starts getting worse, I'm going to have to stop it. I was like, all right, cool. So then my main goal was to still, with Tevin Farmer, was to still be very aggressive and stuff, but also make sure that he wasn't hitting my right eye, because if he hit it like 2 or 3 more times, the referee would have stopped the fight. So like
you as a boxer, if you're fighting someone and they have like that injury or that cut, do you just attack that? Like,
well, you got to attack it, but you got to attack it in the right way. You can actually use it as an advantage too, because obviously they're going to be protecting
having that hand up.
So then you can land body shots and break and stop them with the body shots.
Yeah, boxing. Like, I mean, fighting in general is just so unpredictable. Like what kind of fighter are you pre-fight? So like if you're in the locker room, what's the playlist? Yeah, what's the playlist? Like what do you listen to?
I listen to like Nardo Wick, Lil Baby.
Okay.
Yeah, I listen to like some crazy like hip hop shit, Future sometimes.
Okay, so you're in there, you're trying to get hyped.
Yeah, I'm trying to get hyped. Like I'm just like
you're not like mellow, like I want all the lights off kind of. You're like I want to.
Nah, I'm trying to like go like into demon mode. Like not giving a fuck. Like this is it. Like this is all I've been training for. I did already 8 weeks of training camp. I busted my ass. I made fucking weight. This is all I've been dreaming for these freaking 8 past weeks. So let's fucking get it. This is it. This is the moment.
So you're all about demon mode. So who do you have in your? Do you only have the people that are like? Because you see sometimes they'll go in the locker room and there's like their kids and their fucking wife and everything.
I just have my team, but I also have my kid. Yeah. I have my son there because my son is my biggest motivation.
Yeah.
He's the one that motivates me the most, man. Like even like just to be happy just in like my day in life. I always have to think of my son. Once I think of my son, I'm like, all right, man, I'm good. Like I'm going back to him. I gotta take care of him, stuff like that. That's what makes me the happiest the most. So just to have him there, and I want him to see all like the adversity and all the struggles and just the behind the scenes of everything that I go through to let him have a better living and stuff, and let him do whatever he wants to do when he gets older. That's basically what I'm doing now is, making a living for myself, but also investing in my son's life. So by the time he's 18, 19 years old, once he graduates college, then he has some money to start whatever he wants.
How old is he right now?
He's only 19 months.
Oh God, he's
I saw him playing basketball yesterday.
Yeah, he's played basketball and everything. He's a little baby boy.
Those would be some dope pictures though. Like you see, like even Floyd posted some with his dad when his dad used to box at them, in the ring, and then it's like a current one, and it's him fighting. Like your son, obviously. I mean, kids want to emulate their parents. Would you, if your son wanted to get into this industry again or get into this industry, would you be for it or would you be against it?
I mean, I just want my son to just be happy. I want him to just do whatever the hell he wants to do right now. I mean, he fights with me already. He's throwing jabs. He puts his hands up and throwing 1-2s and stuff. But he also likes to play basketball. So I don't want to force anything on him. Yeah. Whatever he wants to do, then okay, I'll do it and I'll pursue it with him and stuff like that. I just want him to just be happy. So if it so happens, if he wants to, take on this boxing career and stuff like that, then I'm gonna have to show him the craziest shit. I'm gonna have to take him to the dirt. I'm gonna have to make sure that he's doing sprints, make sure that he's doing push-ups, just make him go through that struggle what boxers have to go through in a day in life as far as, you know, the training, and then I can see if he really wants it, because then that's gonna bring him challenges and stuff like that. So I just gotta see whatever he wants to do, man. If he wants to do it, then yes, so be it.
Let's wait till he gets to 2 at least.
I would say like I don't want. I'm gonna teach him how to fight already. Like when he's like 2 or 3, I'm gonna like hit mitts with him and stuff. But I'm not gonna have him spar until he's like 13 or 14. Okay. Yeah, because I already been through that trauma, and I've already done a lot of research like on CTE and like concussions and stuff like that. That's why I'm already at the point of my age where I'm 29, where I want to fight. I still want to fight, and boxing is still my passion. But I still have to, you know, make sure that my mind, both like mentally and me just being present for my son, is the best security that I could possibly be for him. So I got to make sure that, you know, I'm taking my care of myself as far as my nutrition and all that, so that way I can provide for him as many years as I possibly can. Because boxing, with all those concussions, dude, throughout the years and stuff like that, man, it takes a toll. So God knows how my brain is, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's always we always want what's best, better for our kids in our life, right?
Yeah,
but
yeah.
at the same time, like you went through everything, which made you the person you are.
Yeah.
So it's always that balance of like, I want my daughter to struggle, you know,
but not as much as
me. But
Yeah.
all that struggle is what made me
the man you are,
the man I am today.
Yeah, because of course, I mean, that's why, like, my son's gonna be my son. He's his own person, and he's his own soul. He's gonna have to deal with, you know, adversity. He's gonna go through his own troubles. He's gonna go through his own, like, you know, downbringings and happiness and stuff like that. But as long as he knows that I'm there to help him and to, like, you know, guide him, and if he ever wants to, you know, speak on advice and stuff, I want to be that person that could give him some, you know, guidance and some light, but also have some security for him as well. So whenever he gets older and stuff, if he wants to, you know, after he graduates college, if he wants to, you know, start his own business or whatever he wants to pursue at that point in time in his life, he's going to have the funds for it, and he's going to be able to, you know, he's going to be able to do it at the best capability possible.
Facts.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of questions. Obviously, I was expecting this because you're really big in our community, but a lot of people support you, and a lot of people want to see you do well. So a lot of these questions that we offered up to your fans to come and ask, a lot of them just wanted to say, I love this, bro. A lot of people are like, I'm just a huge fan of yours. I just want you to know I've been following you forever. Another one, huge fan. I wish you the best in anything you do. Huge fan. I can't wait to see you knock out the queen, Ryan Garcia. So you have a good following, bro. So whatever you've been doing,
keep doing it.
Keep doing it, because the people fuck with you. People really respect you. I mean, us included. We've been huge fans since day one.
To be honest, man, I think it's just about being yourself, man. Like, you're gonna go through like adversity, you're gonna go through troubles and stuff, but as long as you're just, you know, genuine and just humble and just, you know, just yourself, I feel like you're always gonna have that light. You're always gonna bring that light, because you want to. With my life and with myself, I always want to progress and I always want to get better. So I think that I could, like, with my life and with everything that I go through, I could help share light towards other people's lives.
That's what it's all about. Use your platform for something good.
Yeah.
All right, let's dive into some of these questions. So everybody wants to know who your next opponent is, and what's your goal as a pro boxer. So let's dive into that for what you can share. You have a fight lined up? Yeah.
So the fight's gonna be it's looking like, but we're working on the opponent. The opponent is already, I would say, 99% already guaranteed that it's going to be that guy. So that's what we're working on right now.
And we're looking just sometime. Awesome. So this one is like a two-part. So what's your, obviously the goal is to be world champion, but what's your goal for the future of boxing for yourself? Like, where do you see yourself making it to the pinnacle and you're ready to retire?
Oh, I want to get all the titles at 135, at least like 2 or 3, man. And then once I get those titles, then, you know, then I'll consider retirement. But I'm 29 years old, so I still think that I have about like 3 or 4 more years of my prime. And then once I get to that age, then, you know, I'll figure out where I want to go after that.
Yeah, you still got a lot of fight in you.
Yeah,
literally.
Yeah.
You ever thought about doing like analysts?
Yeah, commentating. Yeah, I've actually commentated already, like 10, 15 fights, man,
Oh,
with
shit.
ESPN,
Okay.
the Zone.
Awesome.
Yeah, so
Yeah, 'cause
maybe
you're-
after boxing, after my retirement, I can start
Like, it's just so
commentating.
natural.
Well, I love to see that too, because like when you watch boxing, it's always best to hear from someone that's
Yes.
been in the trenches. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
Like us as casuals. I call anyone that doesn't fight I'm a casual.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, hey, bro, why can't you go 12 rounds? What are you fucking so tired for? You're like, dog.
You don't give a shit.
And that's what I do when I commentate. I basically, break down everything. Like I'm an analysis. Like I'm like, all right, the reason why he's losing is because of this and that. The reason why he's getting hit is because of this and that. So I actually break down fighting when I'm actually commentating. So it's pretty cool.
So we need more people like
Yeah.
you in the fight game. What do you normally do to prepare yourself for your fight, for major fights?
To prepare myself, I would say run a lot, but also just do a lot of sparring, but not too much, so that way you don't get injured, obviously. But get good sparring. Don't get guys that you're just gonna beat the shit out of and stuff like that. Get guys that are at your level, or guys that are kind of simulating that type of that type of fight that you're gonna be facing against fight night, so that way you could kind of simulate that type of fight already going into the fight. So I would say that, but also your nutrition, man. Nutrition is one of the major aspects of my training camp. Nutrition, and also vitamins too, because I got to make sure that whenever my body is deficient, because I do train a lot. Whenever I'm in training camp, I train 3 times a day, so my body's always just sweating. So I get deficient on a lot of things. So I got to make sure that all my levels are all the same, so that way I can perform at my best.
What do you think of this? Isn't a question. This is something I've heard fighters, like MMA fighters and boxers, say. Kind of at the level you've been fighting at, you already have the skills. You know the skills. A lot of it is getting conditioned to go 12 rounds or whatever rounds you're going. So a lot of them don't do any sparring in the training camp. What do you feel about that?
That some people don't do any sparring.
They don't do any sparring because they've already mastered the skill. So I guess my question is, when you spar, what do you learn from sparring for yourself? Is it like a toughness thing, or?
Well, yeah, it's just toughness and repetition and executing the actual game plan. With me now, since I'm a professional fighter, man, and I'm fighting these type of fighters, these top tier fighters. When I'm in sparring, I got to make sure that those guys are kind of simulating that type of fight, but I'm also executing the game plan that I need, that we're already planning to execute come fight night. So I got to make sure that I'm up in the tempo. I got to make sure that I'm breaking them down. I got to make sure that I'm not stepping on my back foot. It's just basically like fundamentals and practicing everything that you need to do to execute come fight night.
And you feel like that's best done doing sparring?
It is, because it's live.
Yeah,
it's
true.
live, and when you're fighting, you're in a live fight too, and anything can happen. So when you're sparring and stuff like that, anything can happen as well. So you got to make sure that you're sticking to the game plan, but you're keeping composure based on what you're feeling in the sparring session.
Facts. I like that. This one is a good one. Do you think Ryan Garcia is easy work, and do you think he'll duck you again if he wins this fight with Fortuna?
Man, I swear to God, he better not duck me, man. I swear to God. But I mean, Ryan Garcia, he has his flaws, but he also has his benefit. He also has his greatness too, what he's good at. He's very, very fast. He's long. He's rangy. He has a good quick hook, and he catches you. The reason why he knocks a lot of people out is because he catches you unexpectedly. So he's very, very sharp at that. But I think with me and him, I think it's just a matter of the toughness, and it's going to be a matter of the experience. And I think that I have that up against him.
So you don't think it'll be easy work, but you don't think you'll lose that
It'll be a
fight?
good
No, I think
fight.
I'm gonna knock him out. Yeah, I think I'm gonna knock him out.
Dude, your fan base will just go so much higher if you knock them out.
That's all I've been thinking about is, all right, just putting this boy to sleep.
This one's a funny one too, because you're gonna be at the Ryan Garcia fight, right?
Yeah.
So it says, are you putting any money on Fortuna?
I'm not putting no money on Fortuna. I think it's still a tough fight. I think if Fortuna does catch him, because that motherfucker does hit hard, Fortuna. He has bricks as hands. So I think if he does catch Ryan Garcia, because Ryan Garcia he's already been hurt, he's already been dazed multiple times. So if he does find his way to actually catch him, he could knock him out. But I hope that don't happen, man, because I want to fight Ryan.
I like this one too. Who was your toughest matchup you ever faced?
I think the toughest matchup I've ever faced, I mean, there's multiple, man, because every fight is always different.
Yeah.
There's guys that are very, very defensive where you could barely, miss them, and not when you're throwing and stuff like that, they slip and they're hard to get. But then there's also guys that hit hard that are like, man, I got to fucking avoid getting hit from this motherfucker. So you got to start being your defense. And then there's also guys that just, up the tempo and that fight at a high type of pace. So I think my toughest 3 fights were Devin Haney for one, Gary Russell Jr., and then I would say Jesus Rojas. He's a Puerto Rican dude because that fight, man. If you guys go back and watch that fight, me and him threw, I would say, at least like 100 punches around. We're just like duking each other out. It was crazy.
And that's never the game plan, right? Is that just how, like, when you go in there and your coaches are like, okay, this is the game plan, and the dude is game and he just wants to throw with you, do you go like, oh, fuck it, let's just do it?
Well, well, at that point, I had no choice because I ended up making weight, but I was extremely dehydrated, and the ring was like a really, really small ring, like the professional rings.
Yeah.
There's always different types of rings, but I was fighting at the Velasco Theater at the time, so the ring was a lot smaller. So the fight that had to happen was just basically like a rock'em sock'em type of fight. And the guy's Puerto Rican that just wanted to, duke it out as well. So he would throw like 5 or 6 punches, and then I'll throw 5 or 6 punches. He would throw like 2 or 3 shots. I'll slip, I'll counter. It was crazy, man. It was a badass fight.
Do you ever, and I know a lot of fighters say no, but does the crowd ever get to you? Like, let's just say you're fighting like a defensive fight, right? Like, you won the rounds, you have it, and you kind of turn on the defense and you hear the crowd booing. Does that fuck with you? Do you want to turn it on?
Sometimes it does, but I'm like, man, you guys chill.
Fuck y'all.
Chill out, man.
You ain't paying these bills.
Like, chill out, dude. It's fucking the 6th round, man. I already threw like 700 punches, man. Relax.
Yeah, I always wondered that because you'll see a boxer that's like, obviously they won like 7 rounds and they're doing the defense and everyone's booing them. I'm like, damn, bro, but you ain't paying their bills, dog.
Yeah, but sometimes like fighters do that too because you never know what's going on during the fight. You never know if the guy fucking broke his hand or if he got hurt with a little minor shot to the body, because all that shit pays a toll. Like if a guy, you could be winning the whole fight throughout the whole time. But if a guy lands a good body shot, man, it freezes you. It just numbs your whole body. So you have to, not throw punches, but you also have to have a poker face, but recover too. So that might be going on as well. That's why you always gotta pay attention to what the hell is actually going on in the fight.
But it's hard to put on a poker face from a body shot.
Oh, it is.
Liver shot, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I've had one time in my life, and that shit like instantly to the ground crumbled.
The liver or the solar plex?
They said liver, but I'm pretty sure it was solar plex.
Oh, okay.
It was like I couldn't breathe. It's like my whole body froze.
Damn.
And I just felt, and it was just fucking around too, dude. It wasn't like it was anything cool, guys. Trust me. 90% of you guys would fuck me up, so don't worry. I'm not trying to be tough on here. This one is we kind of touched on it, but this is a kind of a good one I feel like to end on. Let's just say you have the Ryan fight, and you beat Ryan. Who would be the next person because obviously Ryan's what you want. Yeah. After Ryan, who would be the next person that you want to fight? Would it be a rematch with Haney or Russell, or do you have another opponent in mind?
Well, if me and Ryan fight and after I beat him, I want to go after either Haney or I want to go after Tank. I want to go Haney and Tank. Those are my next options, dude. I'm not gonna fight anybody else. Those are the only fights I want after I beat Ryan.
Who would you prefer?
Tank,
because you already fought Haney, or
not because I already fought Haney. It's because I already know what I need to do with Haney. I already know the game plan that I need to do, to execute and stuff like that. But I feel like with Tank, it'll be because Haney, he's more defensive, so he's more on his back foot. But I feel like with Tank, I feel like he would want to try to knock me out too. So I feel like it'll be like a Sugar Shane Mosley, Oscar De La Hoya type of fight where we're just like fucking each other up, dude. It'll be a badass fight because I'm a lot bigger than the guys that he's fought. And, he fought a guy, Isaac Cruz, which is smaller than me, but bulky just like me, and he couldn't knock him out. And Isaac Cruz is very aggressive, but not as smart as me. And I think that if me and Gervonta were to, go at it, I think it would be a good fight.
We're going to replay that, but your face lights up when you talk about throwing. So that's how you know you're a fighter, bro. If someone's like, hey, bro, you're going to be locked in a cage or a ring with this guy, you guys are going to go balls. I'm like, fuck. But you're like, yeah, I hope so, because I want to throw hands on them. That's how you know you're a fighter.
Yeah, man, because it'll be exciting. Like, not only like it'll be exciting for me because that's what I like. I like fighting and stuff like that, and I like people fighting in the pocket with me, but it'll be exciting for the fight fans, dude. Like, people will love that.
Oh, brother. I mean, I feel like all three of those guys, the Ryan one would be one just because that shit has to happen because there's been so much shit talking before, and he's thought of every excuse. Granted, mental health, especially nowadays, is brought more to light, so it is a serious issue. Everybody, I feel like, deals with it at certain levels.
Exactly.
But none of us are at the level of you guys, right? Like, we're not celebrities, even though you don't think you are. We're not big on Instagram, so we don't deal with as much hate and stuff. So I understand that. But I mean, bro, if you already booked a fight, you got to fight you next. But all those names are super intriguing. Devin Haney just won, so he's the king right now.
Yeah, he is.
You know what I mean? But then you still got Tank, which Tank is always exciting because he's always going for the kill.
Yeah.
You know, so if you watch a Tank fight, it's not going to go to decision.
Yeah, someone's gonna get knocked out.
Someone's gonna get knocked out.
And I know that like if me and him were to fight, someone's gonna get knocked out. It's either gonna be me or him. Whoever catches each other first. But at the end of the day, I want to fight Tank because I know he's very smart and I know he's very intelligent inside the ring. But so am I. And we both like to fight in the pocket and we both like to engage. So it'll be a good ass fight.
It's like you're embracing the challenge.
Yeah.
Nah, you just crazy, bro. You like to fight. That shit does not entertain me at all. The idea.
We'll keep watching.
Yeah, I'll watch you.
All right.
That shit. No, but you got a lot of stuff. People just showing you love, bro. So I mean, for me, I would love for you just to, you have a camera here. You have a lot of your fans listening. So what would you want to say to the people that have been supporting you since day one?
Just from everybody that's been supporting me since day one, I just want to say thank you guys for all your support. Thank you guys, for being with me, through all my struggles, all my ups and downs, but also riding with me throughout right now as well. I promise you guys every single time out, man, I'm going to give you guys good performances, but I also want to give you guys light, and I also want to give you guys inspiration, and I try to just, live my life positive and just, always being humble, but I thank you guys for everything that you guys have done for me, and I promise you I'm going to continue to, be the light as much as I can for you guys when I can.
Love it. Nothing more needs to be said. We appreciate you spending time with us.
Cool.
We'll be rooting for you in September. Hopefully you finally get that fight with Ryan Garcia. And if you do, you got to come back on here.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Man.
All right.
Before or after?
Oh, no, when that's booked. But literally when you guys are doing it's signed, not the talking the shit. When it's signed, then we'll have you back on. But thank you, man. We appreciate your time. And you guys, thank you guys for always tuning in. Till next time, peace.